Good morning, traders from Chicago. It's 8:02 a.m. on Wednesday, the 5th of May, 2021. Today, it's episode number 1987. Thanks for joining me. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, as we hop into the pre-market summary sheet, let me move this over here. Yes. The pre-market summary sheet by Convergent Trading, we see that the market has a risk-on sentiment. We've continued to climb up. We had a nice little test of the afternoon high yesterday in the S&P, and but overall the sentiment is for risk-on. We're seeing the Euro Stoxx 15, the DAX leading. The DAX was very weak yesterday. Today it's up 241 points, 1.62%. Crude oil taking a pop again. Crude pushing 66.60 in the June contract. In the M21 contract, the Nasdaq's up 84 points, and the Russell's up 12.5 points. The S&P has a 16.75 point rise from yesterday's close, and gold is also up. But the laggard today is the bonds down 13 ticks, the bunds down 27, the euro, silver's down $1, actually just 1.5 cents, and then the 10-year notes down 1.5 small ticks, or 1.5 big ticks, 3 small ticks. And that's where we stand as we come into today's session. The S&P has had a fair amount of volume. It's at 186,000 contracts currently. We have about 24 points of range from about 41.55 to 41.79 this morning. The point of control 41.70.75. Let me just adjust this for a second. This needs to go to the back. Point of control 41.73.50, and overall the market's moving in harmony. The Russell is completely sideways after climbing. Looks like just sitting sideways. So is the Dow. But overall, we have what looks like we're entering into a gap situation versus yesterday's RTH range. We're back to where we came from as expected. Remember, 41.80 was key. Below that, 41.51 was key. Below that, 41.23 was key. And pop quiz, what is important below here? Let's see if you can answer that. So we had 41.81, 41.51, 41.23. What's the important level underneath here? Just remember, you need to keep your tight grip on the narrative and know these prices. You need to know these prices so that you're not having to refer back and forth. You know where they are, and you can check the current action against those prices. That's what we want to do. So tell me what's important below 41.23, and if you're a real student, what's important below that? Two levels exist that are important below that. Very important to know these things. Overall, there's not much to say about this in terms of what we have for today. Wow, it's a lot of earnings. Let me chuck away the low significance ones. After market today, we get Allstate, Uber. Those are really the real big ones. We had General Motors this morning, surprised by 116%. GM, 116% on earnings, $2.25, $2.25 versus $1.04 expected. Revenue was in line basically, and then so that was the before. That's a key key one before, Allstate, Fox, Uber, and Central. Well, these are small. So Allstate, Fox, and Uber aftermarket. So that's where we stand with that. Let's move on. And if you have not been keeping an eye on Ether, there's a lot going on there. So let's move on and take a look at what was expected yesterday. I want to pause for a second. This answers the question. This is a chart from yesterday. As you can see down here, the date is yesterday's Trader Bite. You can always go back and view these at your leisure. But I highlighted 4181. I highlighted the 4150 area, 4151. The next level down was 4123. And then the level below that would be a major test area, major magnet. If we give up the 23, is 67. And then, of course, below that is 38. And below that is 14 and a half, right? There's a gap zone between these, 37 and a half to 14 and a half, something like that. There's a gap zone underneath, a lot of weak structure below 67, and would probably take us down into that 40.38 and 40.14 area. So yesterday, the expectations, so I wanted to show you this from yesterday's Trader Bite. Yesterday's expectations are a push up into the VWAP mid at 71. There's the 71, very poorly written. If not, it's the 80, expecting a push up, responsive buying up into 71 or 80. And I said yesterday we're set up to sell. The primary scenario set up to sell, and if we can get to 71 or 80, we're going to look for a break of 57, and we're looking for 55, 50, 51 as a key target. And then beneath there, 50, 51, it has the MC point of control, and it has single prints of 41, 49. And then we're looking underneath there for 41.23, 41.23. Did not expect a 50-point range yesterday, so I didn't carry the levels down that far. But this right here becomes the next microcomposite area that we would be looking for. And here's what actually took place. Here's what transpired yesterday. Let me remove some of these lines. In our review segment, I like moving around the screen like that just to keep you guessing. But yesterday, look at this beauty. It opened up at 64.75, tested to 63, boom, opening swing low at 63, and then it squeezes to 70 right into the VWAP at the time. Let's pull it back up. There it is, the full session VWAP, the cyan line right there. That's the full session VWAP. This is the RTH VWAP, and it pulls right up to the VWAP and drops. There was no trade there. I did not get a setup at the 70, even though I'm looking for those levels. I'm not going to just put a limit order at 70, a limit order at 80. I'm looking for it to go up, test, fail, and then once it's rolling, I'm looking to hit the bid on a breakout trade to the short side. We did not get that, and it looked like the opportunity was missed, so trade a pullback until we got to 41.67. At 41.67, we put in a really nice zipper, a lot of consolidation up there with some weak retests of the high. You could see it right here. Beautiful zipper right here. Love this structure. And then for me, triggered off at 64. Short triggered off at 64. And now we're gunning for the overnight low at the time, which was 57. So we're gunning for 57 right in here. We're gunning for the 50 right in here. And if it does not bounce at the 50, then we're gunning for 23 right there, right? 23. So what happened? We got the 57, got the 50, consolidates. Looks like we start to get some bigger rotations. So this starts to be a concern here on the runner, but overall it fails to really lift. So it tests the 50 from below, very methodical. Tests the 50 from below, higher low, again, another rare nerve-wracking retest, goes back up to the 50, unable, and then now it's free to swing lower. And if we move forward, you can see how it punches right down into that 23, right? Front run the 23 by 2 ticks, you got your 23 quarter filled, and then the low of day gets put in at 20 and a half. So what we did yesterday is we could not get to the 4181 MC point of control and balance for the last week and a half. Couldn't get that far. We got to 70, and then we finally broke lower, and then we tested the 50, the next key area, and then we managed to get to the next MC at 4123. 4123, just beautiful structure, really nice auction. If you didn't make money yesterday, just learn from it. I know I'm saying this is beautiful and all that, and it may be frustrating you because you did not, you were not able to participate in it or whatever, but it's still a great learning environment and great learning lesson to see how the auction is running. And then as soon as we hit the 20, we get this large rotation, and you can see the down rotations. We have a couple of down rotations in us left, but then from there the up rotations become bigger. They start to exceed this this red line versus the down rotations, and it works itself all the way back almost to the open, giving basically taking us back, creating almost like a cup formation, taking us all the way back into and towards the 4170 area. So that's yesterday's recap. And now what we're doing is we're attacking that 80, which was the next big resistance area outlined yesterday, right? Idiot. We're back in that 4180 area that was mentioned yesterday, and we are holding steady with the point of control at 4173.50. So we are back. We fought our way back into this area here. This is very, very risky for shorts. We are likely to see a short squeeze back above and into the prior days point of control. 4189 is very likely now, and we're back in the 41 to 4181 to 4194 zone. This zone we've been in that I drew yesterday. This zone here. This is the money shot. This is where the market has liked to hang for the last couple weeks, and it looks like we're coming back to it. So we have an inverted head and shoulder type of formation with a neckline right at this 4180 area. So if we push through today that 4181 and stuff and stay bid and really push through the bid, we are likely to squeeze very quickly to 4200, 4202, and then start to attack 4211 one more time. That's the narrative. That's the story you need to keep in mind. The overall participation of the delta yesterday was to the downside. Holding the short was quite comfortable. There was not a lot of pressure on the way up until the 4123 area was tested. So we expected some turbulence at 4150, which we got just a tiny bit of it, and then once it released to the downside, it was a relatively easy hold for 30 points down into 41.23. Okay, so if you had the bullets, it wasn't too bad. And now we're back up here, and now we have to watch while biting our nails this morning for a breach of 41.80, 41.81, and then a big shove right through there, and it looks like it's flagging up here, and it looks like it's prepared to do this. So unless we turn around and push below 41.65 or so down here below the mid, unless we break the 65 down here, it's longs today. It's longs. The shorts are one and done, and that's all she wrote. So let's take a look at what the order flow shows in the book. So the key areas we're interested in: 41.80, 41.81. Not seeing very much here. If I go and filter out the small lots and look at the large lots only, leaving us with these red lines, we see 41.80 offered. That's expected. There's no large block in here. There's no large block in this 41.80. It's likely to trade out and bust through. And then we're looking at 41.83 next. And then once it takes that out, it is likely to run up the book pretty well. So that's the offer. That's a look at the offers, the bids. Look at it. There's not much in terms of resting large blocks in here. We have 70, 41.70 from yesterday. 41.70 is just under the high a day. There's the prior high a day, right, on my cloud levels. And then we have a bid at 41.70, but again, no large block at that 41.70. We don't see that dark blue color occupying the bulk of the size in there. So not expecting that to hold very well on a retest. We see a large block down at 56. But other than that, the order flow is really not showing us very much in terms of what's going on. So this is where this stands. This has got the wrong position on, but this is where this stands. It's you know, the order flow here is a bit of a mess in my opinion. So let's jump in and take a look at what's expected for today. Okay, so here I'm setting up the chart. Stock zones on, master levels on, and the current, these are today's expectations. Today's expectations, you can see we left a gap behind yesterday. This is important to note. Let me switch my colors. Gap, new gap zone. We have not had a gap zone, by the way, since 4-5, since April 5th. And we had a gap yesterday, which is 5-4, June 4th. And so we have not had a gap zone until then. We are in the gap zone now from the prior day, so we're sitting underneath. We're sitting right here underneath this low from a couple days ago, this RTH low. Let me scroll back to it a second. It's in the 80s, 41.81. 41.81, and we're sitting between the 41.81 and yesterday's high of 41.70, and that's where we're starting today. So we have 41.70 beneath us to monitor. 41.70 happens to be the VWAP. So this morning, expecting an open auction out of range, expecting it to revert back, be responsive. The overnight inventory is almost all long, so looking for responsive selling into that 4170. Then looking for an impulse higher, push through the overnight high, looking for the overnight high to go to give us the overnight stat, and then take out the 4180 81 and the top of the gap zone. And now we are likely to quickly push into the point of control of a couple of days ago, squeeze right into this 86 area, and then likely a retest of 4200, right? So this is what we're looking for today, a retest of 4200 with 85 as well as 93 as key test area, key response areas, and then below us 71 is a key response area. So we have 81, 85, 93. Sorry, the writing's terrible. That's the primary scenario. The secondary scenario this morning, running out of time. The secondary scenario this morning, an open auction that squeezes through the overnight high at 79, gets to 80, 81, consolidates up here, comes back to the middle, and then gives the 70 up. So retest of the 70, 71, and gives the 70 up. And if this happens, then we are looking for to squeeze down into 51 or thereabouts, close to 51 for the bounce. So for the short scenario, we're looking for a 51 test, likely to drop to stop at 55, just above 55, and then 71 as you see here. So these are the key areas to look for. The primary scenario has a pretty high probability of playing out. That's the key one that I'm looking for. Before I let you go today, I want to let everyone know that I will be, along with Max Timmons from EdgeClear, we'll both be on Futures IO tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. to talk about Edge Pro X, this platform that EdgeClear, the brokerage that I had founded with Max and others. It's really it's done very well, and it's because it is designed and built for traders, for the active trader. So we're combining the most popular tools together, and the advantage of having Edge Pro X is now we can build things into it as we see a need. So we're not dealing with a third-party vendor and not having control over the development. So tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be on Futures IO talking about Edge Pro X. To register, ft71.com/FIO May 2021. ft71.com/FIO May 2021. Please register. Make sure you register if you want the recording as well. It will require you to register on the Futures IO site, but you'll only have to do that once. Good luck, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.